Where we are.
11th today.
The 11th of April. This is Jerry Wells, a good friend of mine. Known him since he was way back in the early 60s, not 70s. Yeah, we grew up together.
Since I was that high and Tom was about that.
Yeah, we have a lot of connection from them many years, over 50 years. And we've, stayed not real close, but we stayed in contact, and last year you had a bout with COVID, didn't you, Jerry?
I sure did. In fact, it's kind of crazy I'm down here today because April 11th of 2020 is when I was released from the hospital. I spent 11 days. I went out on April 1st, hell of an April Fool's joke, but from April 1st to April 11th, I was on oxygen 24/7 and 2 bags of antibiotics every day.
Wow.
But I walked out of it. They told me, well, you want to get in that wheelchair? I go, nope, I think I can walk out of this place. So I walked out. Dragging my oxygen bottle got me.
Oh boy, that's resolve. That's from the 1950, 60 generation.
Yeah.
But anyhow, as a fellow bow hunter, once I heard Jerry's story, and I'm a lifetime IBA member and a Pope and Young member, and I'm doing what Fred Bear advocated bow hunters do: share your hunts with other people, because it don't do me any good to be working and Jerry not be working and the turkeys are here. So today we're going to set up some blinds and give back to Jerry and reward him for still being on the upside or upright on this earth. So I urge all you bow hunters out there to do the same. It's not about your heroism. It's taking people like Jerry that went through such life-threatening situations and giving back through Mother Nature. And while we're on a subject about giving back, we're down here on the clover field, and you talk about giving back. That clover was consumed to the ground just a month ago, and as I put my hand down there, you can see how much growth. That's all new growth, and that's giving back to Mother Nature. So we're going to set some blinds up for Jerry today, and so he can get down here. I'd like to have set it up right over here. This is where I killed the groundhog at, Jerry. You can see I still had the blind, the netting there.
Yeah.
But the problem with it is, see that old dead widowmaker? I got 2 of them there, and I'd hate to put a man. I got to saw that down because it would be almost. I couldn't live with myself if a man was sitting in there and one of those limbs come crashing down on the blind. So we're going to set it up in a different situation. The same action should be here, but keep that in mind. That's a good safety tip. Don't be setting your blinds. Don't be putting tree stands in trees like that, and don't be setting blinds underneath the trees like that. Because I want to show you this tree over here. You see that large crack in that tree?
Oh, wow.
That can go over at any. It doesn't have a expiration date on it. It goes down on its own. Yeah, all the way up through there. And if you have that coming down on your head,
whatever the weakest link is, huh?
Yeah. So just make sure when you're setting your blinds up that you look at stuff like that, because I got to saw that widowmaker down, and it earned its name.
It's just about this time last year I got out of the hospital, the exact day in fact, and I got out, and about 2 weeks after I got out, weather like this, except it's a little bit warmer. I think it's supposed to get 64 today. I went outside in my skivvies and sat down in the lawn chair. And I sat there and felt that sun soaking up, and then I'll tell you, it was like the hand of God was touching me, man. I thought, whoa, it felt so good. I did that for 2-3 days. I got darkish as hell, just on one side.
Well, we're going to set a stand up in here, and reason we selected this spot is you got a big tree there, you got a little tree over the top of it, and I'm going to level that out. That's why you always want to dig if I got my mattocks there. But the main thing is the sun, if you were sitting in that blind right there, the sun would be right in your face, and that's not good. Now as I step over here, and Jerry, you stay there, I want to show people this. And you got to keep this in mind. Now you see, Jerry's in the shade. You can see how the shadow is being casted upon the clover field. That way, if he's sitting there, he's got the sun to his back. But if you were sitting there, you'd have the sun directly in your face, which wouldn't be good. So you want to. There's so many things setting up a blind that you have to rethink before you do, or you're going to suffer your consequences, and you're going to be sitting there all morning with the sun blasting you in the face. And you know, it's nice to have a nice sunny clear morning with no wind, but if you have to face the sun at daybreak, you ain't going to sit there very long. So you notice, like I say, you can see the shadowing, and Jerry's doesn't have the sun on his face. It's a whole different scenario. Now Jerry, could you walk over here and stand and see the discomfort of that? Now, how do you like that? A lot of glare in there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that old sun, he's right at you.
You'd be shooting at his silhouette.
Yeah, and you know, it's just, it's hard on your eyesight and your patience level when you set it up that way.
And I think a turkey would be able to pick you off a little easier.
Yeah. Plus, there's another plus about setting up over here. If you have a southwest wind or south wind, you're blowing away from the timber, which may not spook as many deer. But if you're setting up over here and you have a north wind, you're screwed, because if the deer blow and snort, the deer probably, or the turkey probably going to not show up either.
And I'm pretty much a novice at this turkey hunt, so you really got to listen to this guy.
Is this your first go at the turkey season?
This is it.
Wow, and
I've been wanting to do this ever since you told me all about deer hunting, Don.
And you're 63, aren't you?
I am 67, dude.
How many?
67.
67. Oh my God. And you never bow hunted turkey?
Never bow.
Have you shotgun hunted them?
Nope.
So this is my inaugural.
Virgin,
Wow. This is something to be able to share with the public.
I always wanted to do this, and I've got things. I'm like I said, I remember buying a mouth call, and I think I've got a box call at home. I never did use them.
Wow.
But I went out and bought me another mouth call the other day because I couldn't find my other one.
Well,
I mean, we're talking years ago. I just never did it.
Wow. Well, I didn't realize that. And I didn't know you were 67. I mean, that's good.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Well, you got to be...
I'll be 71 Friday.
71 Friday.
Yeah.
Excellent. Happy birthday.
Well, you're my birthday present, to be able to take a first-time turkey hunter, and you know, you're going to be hunting some good spots.
I am so ready for this.
And here's this beautiful clover field, and I don't know how many deer or turkey come here. And here's Mr. Jerry Wells on his inaugural, turkey hunt of bow or gun at the age of 67 years old. So best of luck, old man.
It's a new experience for me.
Okay. Well, now you can see. You wouldn't want to be sitting there in the afternoon because the sun's right on you. But in the morning, you're going to be sitting in the shade. Well, we got the one blind set up for Jerry. This is on the old clover field. Plenty of turkeys been out here.
You drive the stakes.
And we got the blind set up there, and you notice it's in the shade. And we're going to stake it down. And how far is the shot you think you're going to take now?
I was going to hope we could let him right in the door there, and me and him could sit there and talk about hunting. No, 10 yards looks like the kill zone to me. So.
Well, you had a story about our history of growing up.
Now, I was telling Don that he was telling me earlier that us growing up on the east side of Des Moines, in the city, basically in the city, that's what got me through my COVID bout with COVID. And yeah, I understand kind of what he's talking about, because I remember in high school I started varsity football as a sophomore, and I played cornerback. I wanted to play quarterback and run with the ball too, but I got to do that later. But anyhow, back to Don, our coach Frank Gilson. I'll never forget this. One of the stories he told me. We got this kid from the east side. His ankles was this big around. He weighed about 155 pounds, and he was our middle linebacker. He's a linebacker. I knew dang well who he's talking about, because I grew up with Don. And he goes, and so he didn't even have to say his name, but he goes, that kid was the meanest, toughest son of a bitch we ever played this game for us. He was our best defensive man out there, because he's just downright mean.
Yeah.
And Don, I can tell you, Don can tell you that through his life, I've heard a lot of stories about Don. I've been personable to some of them. Don used to kind of be our neighborhood. You watch all over us younger kids. You know, you didn't have to worry. Him and my brother were like that. And yeah, growing up with Don, you didn't have to worry about the 4 Mile Gang or any of the other inner city bullies and stuff, because Don rolled the roost around our neighborhood.
Yeah, thank you for them memories, because
Yeah.
boy, they can say that's what life's about, and you know, you don't seek that, you just live that. And yeah, Michael Jordan said it one time. A reporter asked him, Michael, what was your formula to your greatness? And he said, I have no formula to greatness. I just play the game.
Yeah.
And that's the way I live life. There's no formula. And as we pan around here, you can see what we do. We give back. And the turkey will flock in here, the deer flock in here, and this COVID survivor is here also. So that's giving back.
Thanks to a cancer survivor.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah, 2 of us have beat the odds.
Beat some odds.
And like I say, it's really going to be fun for Jerry on his inaugural turkey hunt with a bow. And like I say, I want to go over a few things. This was our pure attraction, and boy, it's wet down here. It's a little more wet than I want, but that's good low ground. Excellent clover growing ground. But as I back off, you can see the blind, and it's still in the shadow, and it's probably almost noon. But those turkey will feed right up to that green area, and then there's a trail that they'll go right past. And so it's not a given, but you want to sit far enough away from the big woods. That's where they're going to be roosting. And you don't want to be, you can't get into the blind if you're that close, so you're going to have to restrict you. Now, what they'll probably do is start down at this end, and the cameras have documented that they work from this end right up to where Jerry's standing, and that blind really blends in really good with that background. Because if you don't have to worry about having it hid as much as getting access to it. Now if it was deer, it's a different story. But the turkey will accept that. They'll come within an hour after we put it up, as far as that goes. But anyhow, it's just so rewarding to be able to take a fellow American and a COVID survivor and sharing bow hunting. And I urge all the IBA board members and all the IBA members to do the same for their fellow hunters. This man's 67 years old. It's time to start giving back. Quit trying to get off your ego ride and help other people out in their quest for a trophy.
Don't forget to tell them, son of the original U.S. Army Ranger, World War II.
Wow.
That's my old man.
That was your dad?
My dad.
Wow.
Army's Rangers.
Wow.
You talk about a guy who went through some stuff. I could go on for, I'd run you out of tape, Don.
Well, I know your dad was a hard worker, and so was your mom. And your mother was the most beautiful woman I ever witnessed. I remember when we were in the 2-room schoolhouse down at Babbitt, and she was sitting in the a Christmas concert. And I thought, oh my God, who's that beautiful woman? We were up on stage. That's when you celebrated Christmas also.
Yeah, Dad fought in World War II, first Company D, 1st Rangers. Met my mother in Korea during the Korean War. And I always got to throw that's why I look like I do.
You're all American.
I am.
Well,
I'm what you call an Amerasian. American first.